Hi friends, welcome to my channel Kridanu Updates. This video is about computer science, chapter 1, functions lesson. This comes under unit 1. This is specially made for English medium students. Please like, share and subscribe friends. Keep supporting. So, shall we go to the lesson? Now, in this lesson there are some learning objectives. Let us see about this objectives. So first topic we are going to see is what is meant by function, an introduction about function and its specification. How we are going to specify a function, it is explained here. The next one is parameters and arguments, parameter with type, what is meant by parameter and parameter with type, and parameter without type. These two headings we are going to see. Then the syntax for function. So up to this we are going to see in this part 1 video. So let us start with the lesson. Consider this as a part 1 video friends. So introduction about functions. What is meant by function? Actually, function is a kind of work. We are going to work on it. It is a task. Okay, a function is defining a task. It will get some input from any other program, or it will accept the input which is mentioned inside the function and process the steps comes under the function. Then it will give the output. It will return the output to the main program. So a function is a specified task. It will take the input, process it, and it will give the output. It will not consider anything from the main program, or it will not affect the main program. Only it will take the input, or it will use the input which is mentioned in the function itself, then function it, then it will return the output to the main program. This is the concept of function. A function is also called as basic building blocks of a computer program. It is also named as subroutines. Subroutines is also called as functions. This is vice versa. So subroutines is nothing but small sections of code. This coding will be added in the main program, and we can use it whether it may be mentioned inside the program or outside the program. We can use that function with the help of the function name, and we can use number of times. A function can work number of times without any hesitation, and it will resemble the same task and same procedure, and it will give the output according to the input. So a function is a unit of code that is often defined within a greater code structure. It is a set of code, small block code, and unit of code. It will contains many kinds of inputs like variants, expressions, and produces a concrete output. A function can contain a set of inputs in different categories, in different data types, and the variants and the expressions used in the function is also like the main program. Everything, the rules followed in this function will be same as like main program only, but it is a separate function. For example, consider this as an example. I am going to say one life oriented example. So if I am a class teacher for a class, and if I am fixing a girl, if I am selecting a girl to write the mark list of a particular class. So consider you as my student. Now I am asking you to give your class students mark list. So your handwriting is neat, so I am selecting you as my student, and I am asking you to give the mark list of the students. It means I am the main program and you are my subroutine. That is you are my function. So your work is what? You have to give a mark list to me. That is your work. So for that you are going to collect the marks of your students and making it as an order. So after completing the mark list, you will give the output for me. This is the function task. So for this, I am just instructing you and you are doing the work and giving the output. It means I am the main program and you are the function program. You are the subroutine. This is the best example for it. The next heading is function specification. How we are going to specify a function is mentioned here. Now let us consider the example as a colon is equal to 24. It is explained, it is declared in between the C brackets. This expression is mentioned here as 24. The number 24 individually, it won't give any data, or we can't able to use a simple number, a separate number as a data inside the function. It means it has to be assigned to an expression. Let us consider this as an expression. It has to be assigned to a variable or it has to be assigned to a function. Then only we can able to use this number 24. So the value, in this case, the value 24 being bound to the name A. So it means the 24 is now fixed to the variable A. Likewise, we are going to specify a function also. If consider A as a function and the number 24 as its value input. So the next heading is parameters and arguments. Parameters and arguments means the values passed into the functions. It is called as parameters. So as I said before, the mark list example, as I said before, if I ask a student to prepare a mark list, means it is task oriented. For that, if I give my mark register note and my stationaries to the student, if I gave my note and my stationery items to you, and if I ask to do that work and complete that work like that, if I say means, it means I am giving some inputs to you to work on it. That is known as parameters. What are all the things I am giving you to complete the task? It is called as parameters and arguments. So if I am giving the input in the sense, it means parameter with type. Parameter with type, it is mentioned here. So if you are using your own items to complete my task, that means if you are using your note and your stationaries and you are making it and giving back to me, in that sense it means parameter without type. Just for an example, I am mentioning you as my student and I am explaining it. So that is called as parameters. Generally, parameters and arguments means what are all the inputs and what are all the variables we are sending to the function to complete our task. It is called as parameters and arguments. That is the main heading covered in this. So parameter with type, in the sense, type means data type. So what kind of type we are using? It means the values and variables must definitely should have some types, whether it may be an integer or float or character. That means a number must be differentiated into two terms, that is integer number and integer number whole number, or decimal number, that is the pointed numbers. So in this case, if we are using some variable and if we are using some data to that variable, in the sense we have to mention it as whether it is an integer variable or float variable. According to the type only, that variable will work as its flow. So likewise, consider this as a function, and here the variable, the parameters and arguments which is used here is, the variable is b. So we are sending some b value to this function. Here in this program, actually b is mentioned, but we didn't mention any type like integer or character like that. We didn't type data type definition in this program. So at this stage, the data types which we had not mentioned in this function, For example, b is greater than or equal to 0. Likewise, we are checking some condition, and now the b value is checking and it is doing some operations, it is doing some functions, and it will give some output. So on behalf of that output, the b value may get changed. But we didn't mention any data type here. This is one type of parameter, and the another type is parameter with type. Here the a value is an integer and b value is also an integer. Likewise, the data type of a and b is clearly mentioned. So anyway, if it has come as float number as an input or float number as an output also, but it will round off the number and change the float number into an integer number, and then it will stored in that variables. For that purpose only we are mentioning the data types. We don't need, there is no need to take the pointed numbers. We need only whole number, in the sense we have to mention the variable as an integer. So likewise, we have to mention the type in this order. This is the order, that is a colon int, b colon int. Likewise, we have to mention the data type. So in the above function definition, if the expression can return 1 in then branch, shows that as per the typing rule, the entire if expression has type int. It means we didn't mention any data type, but if the answer is considered to be as 1, if the answer comes as 1, then the whole system and then the whole function will be considered as an integer. As we didn't mention any data type base according to the output of the subroutine, this short program will be considered as the integer data type. So b is also a type of int. Likewise, here this program is mentioned and explained here. So here we are having the syntax for function definition. How we have to mention a function, that is defined as a syntax. Here let is mentioning that in this line a function is going to start. Likewise, let is a keyword to mention a function. And rec, let rec instead of let. If we simply use let, it will give some another meaning, and if we use let rec, it will give some another meaning. See, this is explained in this paragraph. So the definition, the function definition will be introduced by the keyword let, followed by the name of the function and its arguments. So let is a keyword, it has to be mentioned first, and the next word we have to mention is the function name. Then the formula that computes the image of the argument is written after an equal to sign. That is the formula which we are going to use in this function, which we are going to use in this function should be stored in a separate variable, and that variable should be assigned to this function after this equal to symbol. If you want to define a recursive function, use let rec. It means rec means recursive function. Recursive means repeated. The process we are going to use in this function is going to be a repeated process. That means, for example, if a boy is there, if a boy A is there, consider a boy, and I am giving 10 A4 sheets to that boy, and I am informing him a condition that you have to bring and give this A4 sheet to me, this set of 10 A4 sheets to me, but there is one condition, you have to bring one by one. It means he has to come and give only one A4 sheet at a time. Then for the second A4 sheet he has to go and get it back. Then for the third he has to go to the classroom. It means that boy should follow my conditions, and he has to get all the A4 sheets, all the 10 A4 sheets from his class to me. He has to transfer it one by one. That is known as recursive function. That is, by following these conditions, he is doing the same task repeatedly. It means that is known as recursive function. Likewise, if you are going to check some conditions and if you are going to do the process repeatedly, in the sense, you have to mention the function as recursive function. So for that you are going to use REC keyword. This recursive function, when it will get stopped? Can anyone guess? When it will get stopped? After getting the 10th sheet from that boy, my function is over. Is it no? The main program's function is over. But the subroutine's function will not get over. After giving the 10th sheet also, he has to go and check whether he is having any A4 sheet in his classroom or not. Like that he has to check. That is the duty of subroutine. So after checking it, if there is no A4 sheet, then only he has to stop by himself and he can stay in his classroom itself. But anyway, that recursive function will follow the same procedure to the 11th step also. Then only the subroutine will get stopped. So after my condition is getting failed, my condition is becoming a false one, then the subroutine's function, then the recursive function will get stopped. So that is clearly mentioned here. A function definition which call itself is called recursive function. Okay, so with this topic I am going to wind up this video. So the next video will be updated soon. Please like, share and subscribe. Whatever may be the comments, please share with me whether it is understandable or not. Did you got my point, like that? If you have any suggestions, kindly mention in the comment section. Thank you.